Hello guys and welcome back to a brand new video on my channel. Now just over a week ago, Bartomeu and his entire board of directors resigned from Barcelona, a day the culés never thought they'd ever see, but it happened, he's gone, and that's actually left even more questions almost, because of course, whilst Bartomeu was in charge, everyone was thinking, get him out, get rid of him, and of course that's happened and it's brought great joy to the fans. It's been a great week really in terms of the fact that Bartomeu is no longer here, he cannot make any more terrible decisions to run the club, but he's left, essentially, a pile of absolute chaos for the interim board to come and deal with, for us fans to go and say, hey, where do we go from here? What do we do from here? And I think after this has happened, there have been so many questions regarding, the president candidates almost for the next election, the interim board that have come in, what happens now, what happens regarding the January transfer window. All of that is going to be covered in today's video. I wanted to answer almost all of those questions, just get rid of any doubts. It's quite confusing, and I've made it digestible, I feel. I haven't gone into that much detail, I've just made it simple, plain, and I hope you guys enjoy it because it should give you everything you need to know about Bartomeu resigning, about what's happening right now at Barcelona, what the situation is, and everything you need to know about the January transfer window. And I want to leave a bit of credit here actually to an article below of Bartomeu'S. It's written by David Bravo, who's a great writer there, and he actually helped. Well, he didn't help personally, but he's made a really, really good article here, essentially explaining the entire situation very well. So if you want even more detail, go out and check that down below. And also, guys, on that note of Bartomeu'S, I'm actually the voice of Bartomeu'S on YouTube right now, so I'll try and remember also to leave the link to the channel below that I'm currently doing work on. Go and check that out, guys. We do constant videos on Barcelona on there, and you want even more in-depth Barca content, on every single game, before and after games, then go and check out Bartomeu'S, and also check out the article on their website written by David, which is actually explaining this even in more detail. But I'm going to try and make this as digestible as I can in video format for you guys, so you understand everything, and within 10 minutes, you'll know exactly what's going on. And a good place to start is basically to assemble, where are we right now, what's the situation, what's going on, because Bartomeu's left and everyone's thinking, well, what's happening, who's the president? Right, there's an interim board right now at Barcelona. It's been led now by someone called Carles Tusquets. He's come in, his board of directors, it's him and a few other people, are running over the club. They're not supposed to do anything drastic, they're simply here to run over things, make sure that the day-to-day tasks that need to be done in the club are being done. And they're doing all of this essentially until a new president is elected. That may happen in December or January or whenever, but until then, they just have to run over everything, make sure the club is being ran, to perfection essentially, because Bartomeu left it in quite a mess. They've got a bit to clean up, as we'll be getting on to, but they've just got to do day-to-day tasks and ensure that until a new president comes in, everything is fine. They are not expected to do anything drastic, like I said, anything serious. So by that I mean no transfers, no selling. So this board aren't just going to say, right, let's get rid of Firpo, we need a new left back. Nothing like that is going to happen. Nothing even close to that is going to happen. Probably not even in the B team or anything like that. Nothing that's going to affect the team you wouldn't think badly is going to happen like that. They won't have much power. They won't really be making any massive decisions. And having said that, they've got a few things to deal with. Because like I said, Bartomeu has left a bit of mess. They're not going to be doing any transfers, anything like that. But there are things we need to cover. Because like I said, an interim board isn't really here to do anything that drastic whatsoever. But hey, they've got a bit of a mess to clean up, because number one job on their hand is to pick a date for the upcoming elections, and people might say that's obvious, that's not that big of a job, but it's either December or January, either, the 19th or 20th of December, or the 9th or 10th of January, and that could be absolutely massive. That could have some serious implications on the January transfer window, which I'm sure you guys are all interested about, and also on how the season goes. Say we get a new president in, like on the 1st of January, for example, they can take control of the window. If we get one in on like the 22nd, 23rd of January, yes, they can still do things, but they have a week of window to do anything in, and that could be a little bit rushed, a little bit absurd, and it would feel like kind of a Bartomeu sort of move, wouldn't it? Scrambling last minute to do deals, messing things up, nothing that measured. You don't know whether a new board will want their first week in charge to make a really controversial decision in the transfer market. So that's why I mentioned that picking the date for the election is so crucial, because if we can get it in December, I thoroughly believe we can actually get in a new board by January, and they can take control of the window. Tusquets will also actually have to organise how the vote takes place, and that might sound obvious and quite a stupid thing, but he's got to basically decide, where it's going to take place, how, when, timing also in terms of when people are going to be out and about, and that topic becomes even more relevant nowadays with the coronavirus pandemic, of course. Are people going to be allowed out of the house? Is this actually going to be possible? There have been calls by people like Victor Font to introduce something like electronic voting, which could actually help people vote from home, not have to go out and endanger themselves during the pandemic. So Tusquets is going to have to make all of these decisions to decide, when is the voting going to take place, how it's going to take place, and that is all really relevant. So organising all the stuff around the elections is already quite the task for Tusquets. He has got things to do. He's not just there, to sit around all day milking cows. He's actually got to do some jobs. But on top of that, guys, Tusquets and his entire board of directors that he's got in now interimly have to negotiate a salary cut with the players and the staff. And you guys may have heard this around Barcelona press everywhere right now. There's been calls of bankruptcy, and the situation Tusquets in is not an easy one. He has to try and get 160 to about 200 million worth of euros saved out of the players and the staff. The wages that they're on are astronomical. The club that Bartomeu has now left is in an absolute dire state financially, and Tusquets and his board of directors, which there aren't many of, have a massive role here. Within the next week or 2 weeks, they have to make some serious, and I'm talking serious, salary reductions within the players especially, because if not, Barcelona could be filing for bankruptcy and could be in a really, really bad position. So that is a serious job that Tusquets has to do, and like we said, his job is essentially meant to be invisible now. He's literally not even meant to be spoken about, Tusquets. He's just meant to do a few things here and there, run the day-to-day business, nothing that special, but my goodness me, he's got a big job in his hand here. The salary cuts have to be negotiated, guys, else the club is going to be in a bad, bad state. And look, you'd hope they can negotiate it. You'd hope the players will come together and say, we'll take a massive chunk out of our salaries here to save the club, because Bartomeu's left it in a huge debt. And check out the article if you want any in-depth figures on that, by the way, because it is nasty stuff. He's left us in massive debt with nearly 200 million worth of euros saved. And that's massive. And I also want to touch on transfers before we end the video, and I think that's why some of you guys might have clicked on the video. I think everyone's wondering what happens with Barca's January transfer window, because there was so much talk about incomings and outgoings towards the end of last summer in the deadline day. So that makes the January window very relevant indeed, especially in this Barcelona team. You'd feel we could do with 2-3 signings here and there, and whilst not all of that will happen in the January window, you would expect something. So what's going to happen, basically? Well, first of all, like we said, Tusquets, he basically won't be making any signings, is what I will say. He's not essentially allowed, is one way of putting it, although Bartomeu himself, when he was the interim board leader, did make some transfers. He sold De La Feu, he bought Arda very, very controversially, and of course, he was elected president in the end, but that was definitely controversial. But like I say, I will not expect Tusquets to be making any signings. That doesn't seem on the table. Other board members like Ramon Planes, who I believe is our sporting director, he is still working on transfers. He's looking at Eric Garcia, Depay. We look at Nunez, who's come out in the news today from Almeria, which is an interesting one. Also, I think he's just signed for Benfica, has he not? So there are still transfers going on behind the scenes. The rest of the board of directors, I think there are still some here, like Planes, who haven't gone with Bartomeu. They're still working on transfers, but that all basically means absolutely nothing unless the new board that gets elected agrees with it. So say Planes, say everyone is working on a transfer of Memphis Depay and Eric Garcia, and Victor Font joins and says, I don't want any of them, then they're not going to happen. So that makes all the rumours you're hearing right now in the press completely up in the air. Yes, I'd imagine when Font comes in, he'd agree with the signing of Eric Garcia. It's a young centre-back who fits the Barcelona mould. It's the sort of thing him and Xavi you'd feel would want. But someone like Memphis Depay, for example, his signing's very up in the air, and I say that because yes, the club are working on it. Yes, that there's an option for Depay to come in very cheap in January. Yes, Ronald Koeman wants it, and I'm sure, if he still had Bartomeu here, maybe we'd be seeing Depay come in around mid-January. But say Victor Font wins the elections, and Font comes in, and Font has a chat with Bartomeu, and he tells him what the vision he has. I don't know if Depay is going to fall under that. So everything you're hearing transfer-wise right now, yes, honestly, take it. I think the Depay rumours are 100% concrete. Same with Eric Garcia. They are very much valuable options for Barcelona in January. But like I say, unless the board agrees with it, that's not going to happen. Deals will not go through unless the new board of directors, who will be in charge, we'd hope, for the majority of the January transfer window, unless they agree with the signing, it's not going to happen. And that's why I emphasise that the role Tusquets has is so important, because if he gets that date right for the elections, we could have a board have an entire January transfer window, a sit down with Koeman. You'd hope they could come to a compromise, make some good additions, make some good sales in the team, and make us a competitive team going into the second half of the season. But that is where I'm going to wrap up this video, guys. I hope it was digestible. I think it's just within the 10-minute bracket or so. Leave all your questions in the comments down below. If you have anything else to answer, leave it all there. Check out the articles. Check out myself on Barca Universal's YouTube channel. We've got loads of content on there. And I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. I hope I covered it all. January transfer window, election dates, the salary cuts that need to be done. There's massive debt in the club right now. All of that I hope has been covered in a digestible manner very clearly for you guys. So I'll see you guys very, very soon. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the game for Barcelona coming up tomorrow. Or is it Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday against Dynamo Kiev. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Enjoy yourselves and goodbye.